Okay. With that, Johnny, I want you to come up and do our prayers and pledges, please, sir.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we ask you to come down and grace us all with your presence. Open the minds and hearts of those who may have to make decisions to be open to your guidance and your wisdom. We dedicate this day to you as an offering. Do not let us offer anything that is evil. Remain with us this whole day, Lord. Let your grace be a sun that never sets. May the love of the Holy Spirit direct our hearts and our lips, and may we always act in accordance with your will. We ask all of this in the name of Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, God, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Johnny. Good morning, everyone. As I read some proclamations here this morning, we'll make sure that the group that's attending for this specific proclamation come up here and stand up here with me. First one we're going to do is Concho Christmas Celebration Day. Lee, Monica, will y'all come up here and stand at the front while we read this? There we go. Absolutely. Absolutely. There we go. All right. The year of 2025 marks the 32nd annual Concho Christmas Celebration Tour of Lights. The Concho Christmas Celebration, featuring more than 3 million dazzling lights, is recognized as one of the largest and most spectacular Christmas lighting events in the state of Texas. This beloved holiday tradition offers a 2.5 mile walking or driving tour beginning behind the main post office at the corner of Abe Street and First Street and concluding at El Paseo de Santa Angela. The success of the celebration is made possible through the efforts of approximately 400 dedicated community volunteers who warmly greet tour guests, the inmates from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Daniel Webster Wallace Unit, who assists with the installation of the Christmas scenes, and the members of the San Angelo Restaurant Association, who generously provide meals for those inmates. The annual community Christmas tree lighting ceremony will be held on Saturday, December 6, 2025 at 5:15 p.m., featuring performances by the San Angelo Community Band, conducted by the Dr. Constance Kelly of Angelo State University, and the Twin Mountain Tonesmen, directed by Mark Clark. Following the tree lighting ceremony, the 23rd Annual Lights of Christmas Parade will commence at 6 p.m. in the downtown area. The Tour of Lights will be open to the public from December 6th through December 31st, 2025, and may be enjoyed Sunday through Thursday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., and each Friday and Saturday from 6 p.m. until midnight. Therefore, I, Tom Thompson, the mayor of the city of San Angelo, Texas, on behalf of the city council, do hereby declare Saturday, December 6th, 2025 as Concho Christmas Celebration Day. And we extend our gratitude to all those whose dedication and community spirit make the Concho Christmas celebration a cherished holiday tradition, and invite residents and visitors alike to take part in the joy and wonder of this annual event. Monica can share some words.
Yes, Monica Ramos, Director of Downtown San Angelo. We are very grateful to carry on the torch that Mr. Pfluger has had with Concho Christmas Celebration for 32 years. And this year with Concho Christmas Celebration, we're going to add a few little fun elements, and we'll see more coming in the future. But December 15th will be Grinchmas along the Concho, where the guests that tour the lights can meet and greet with Cindy Lou Who and the Grinch. We'll also have a Chick-fil-A night on December 9th and a salute to service on December 31st. So please come out and join us. The minimum donation of $8 just helps us continue the Tour of Lights. This has been a long-time tradition. It's something great for San Angelo and the surrounding counties and cities, and for visitors that come from out of state to visit our holiday festivities. And there's many other activities that take place. You can visit Concho Christmas Celebration on our website as well as our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. And also right now, Jade Marty, who is our membership and events coordinator for downtown San Angelo, yes, welcome Jade, has also organized a window decorating contest for downtown San Angelo merchants. And there are 6 merchants that you can go and view their displays in the evening. They have them all lit up and decorated with festive decor, and you can vote now until December 6th. Voting ends at 1 p.m. Vote on the Concho Christmas Celebration Facebook page for your favorite display, and that merchant will win a Concho Christmas gift card to be placed along the river for next year. So please help them out, and thank you all for being a part of this community and welcoming us today. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council.
Let's get a photo up here. I apologize for that. All right, National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. If anybody wants to come up here and stand at the front, please do so at this time. Larry, JJ. On Sunday, December 7th, 1941, the Imperial Japanese Navy launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in an attempt to break the American will and destroy our Pacific Fleet. The attack left over 3,500 Americans killed or wounded and marked the United States' entrance into World War II. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. In his official speech on December 8, 1941, he included, "No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win to absolute victory, and with confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounded determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God." Our service members valiantly answered the call by defending their positions, fighting back against our attackers, and caring for our wounded. The sacrifices made by the members of our armed forces and civilians to protect America and its people will never be forgotten. On August 23, 1994, Congress, by Public Law 103-308, designated December 7th of each year as National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, authorizing and requesting the President to issue annually a proclamation calling on the people of the United States to observe the day with appropriate ceremonies and activities, to urge all our federal agencies and interested organizations, groups, and individuals to fly the flag at half-staff each December 7th in honor of the individuals who died as a result of their service at Pearl Harbor. Commemoration of the attack on Pearl Harbor will instill in all people of the United States a greater understanding and appreciation of the selfless sacrifices of the individuals who served in the armed forces of the United States during World War II. Therefore, I, Tom Thompson, Mayor of the City of San Angelo, Texas, do hereby proclaim December 7th, 2025 as National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day in San Angelo, Texas. Further, be it known that the citizens of San Angelo remember with eternal respect those who were injured or killed on December 7, 1941 at Pearl Harbor, including Seaman First Class Walton A. Irwin, a citizen of San Angelo, whose mortal remains are forever entombed in the USS Arizona. Somebody needs to come say some words. Larry.
As the mayor said, there was 3,500 who were wounded or killed on the island of Oahu that day. And as he pointed out, we have an individual who is among those who did not survive the attack and is forever entombed in the United States, Arizona. He is memorialized on that monument over the top of the Arizona, but that was the only monument for him until a few years ago, when the Veterans Organizations of San Angelo placed a marker by his mother and father out at Fairmont Cemetery. Don't let us ever forget what happened that day.
Let's get up here and get us a picture.
All right.
Anyone here with San Angelo reads? All of you. Can't hide in the back. Stand over here. That way we'll get y'all front and center. Doctor? Got that look like, where do I go? Anywhere. I want you to know I practiced this morning. It's still a tongue twister, okay? We'll see if we get through this. This proclamation is for San Angelo Reads Day. San Angelo ISD is committed to promoting literacy and instilling a passion for reading in the San Angelo community. As part of this commitment, SAISD is proud to continue partnering with the City of San Angelo, local businesses, and other community groups in the community-wide literacy initiative, San Angelo Reads, to increase awareness of the importance of literacy. Statistics show how vitally important literacy is in providing a fundamental base for success. SAISD administrators, principals, and educators and superintendent understand that reading should extend beyond school hours and classroom walls and focus on this initiative through a variety of literacy programs, read-alouds, and community events to inspire love for reading. I, together with the district, invite the Concho Valley community to join in this special day and get to reading. Whether reading to a special loved one, donating a book to a child in need, or other creative ways, celebrate today. Therefore, I, Tom Thompson, Mayor of the City of San Angelo, Texas, on behalf of the City Council and together with San Angelo Independent School District administrators, principals, educators, superintendent, and students, do hereby recognize December 11, 2025 as the 6th Annual San Angelo Reads Day, and urge all citizens in San Angelo, Texas, to acknowledge the occasion of this day in our celebration of the importance of literacy and instilling a passion for reading in our youth. Keep reading, San Angelo. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of official seal of the City of San Angelo, Texas, to be affixed this 2nd day of December, 2025. Doctor? Absolutely. Some words, please, sir.
Just a quick word. Good morning, everyone. If education is the great equalizer, reading is the door we all must walk through to gain that. And we hope that for all of our students. We say to them that readers are leaders. As a child, I don't know that I really love to read. As an adult, I have fallen in love with reading. And we want our children not only to be able to read, but to love to read and find the literature that really connects with them. And so I appreciate the fact that we're recognizing this, all of the community partners that provide and donate books that read to kids. And we just encourage our community to continue the journey to help our children fall in love with reading. Thank you for this today.
Thank you all. Thank you. Absolutely. Anyone here with the Boys and Girls Club? And it's the crowd. There we go. A couple of you. Harry, shouldn't you be down here for this? Harry, come on. Sure? All right. For 60 years, the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Concho Valley has been a cornerstone for youth development in San Angelo. Founded in 1965 as the San Angelo Boys Club, the organization initially served boys in the Tom Green County. In 1990, the club expanded its membership and officially changed its name to the Boys and Girls Club, and later merged it with the Boys and Girls Club of Menard. Over the years, the Boys and Girls Club of the Concho Valley has provided thousands of children and teens with educational support, leadership training, and character-building activities to help them build a strong foundation for future success. The organization is committed to promoting academic achievement, good citizenship, and healthy lifestyles, particularly amongst the youth who are the most in need of its resources. With the help of its dedicated staff, volunteers, and strong community partnerships, it continues to expand its reach and its mission to ensure that every child can learn, grow, and thrive. Therefore, I, Tom Thompson, Mayor of the City of San Angelo, Texas, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby recognize and applaud the Boys and Girls Club of the Concho Valley for being a beacon of hope, a champion for youth, and a trusted pillar of service in our community. Their ongoing efforts uplift families and strengthen neighborhoods and help shape the leaders of tomorrow. Somebody's got to give us some words up here.
Good morning and thank you. Over 60 years ago, a group of concerned citizens got together and realized that there was a need to serve the youth, specifically boys running amok around San Angelo, and they formed the Boys Club. That same group of citizens got together with another group of citizens and realized that girls need those same services. And so I'm proud to be a part of an organization that has served thousands of kids, and I look forward to serving thousands more. Thank you.
Where's Frank? Frank, come on up. You might try to hide, but we got to have you up front, bud. This one's special. Why don't y'all stand over here, Shane? This one's special for the city this morning, y'all. I take great pride in reading this one, amongst all of them, but this one shows an extreme amount of dedication. In honor of an extraordinary 45 years of dedicated service, the City of San Angelo proudly recognizes Frank Lopez with deep gratitude and profound respect. Since joining the City of San Angelo in 1980, Frank has embodied unwavering commitment, exceptional craftsmanship, and a spirit of mentorship that has shaped generations of municipal employees. Whether rebuilding grinder pumps, helping construct a utility maintenance shop, or sharing his extensive expertise in CDL certification, plumbing, electrical work, and equipment repair, Frank has consistently gone above and beyond. His knowledge, skill, and steady leadership have saved the city invaluable resources and strengthened the foundation of our workforce. Frank's positive attitude, willingness to lend a hand, and the genuine care he shows for his colleagues and community have made him not only a trusted team member, but a true cornerstone of the City of San Angelo. With our deepest appreciation, we celebrate Frank's remarkable milestone and honor the legacy of his excellent service and integrity he continues to leave behind. Frank is not retiring, but this is just a recognition of 45 years of outstanding service to the City of San Angelo. Well deserved, Frank. Frank, would you like to say some words? If you don't want to, I'm going to make Shane Kelton come over here and say some words, or Daniel. We can't let you escape.
No, we sincerely, as the Executive Director of Public Works and the one that oversees the utility, I can't thank Frank for his service enough. What they do every day is just short of incredible. Well, actually, it is incredible. I mean, when you look at that, it's 22 degrees this morning. These guys, I don't guess we had to this morning because Frank was actually here. He was able to make it today. But a lot of mornings when we have issues, these guys are out there in the water. They're out in the field. They're working. They're doing whatever it takes to make sure that we have water service, we have sewer service, and that everything runs within the city. And so I can't thank these guys enough. And for doing this for 45 years and being as happy and cheerful as Frank it's nothing short of incredible. So thank you for your service, Frank, and everything you do for us.
Microphone. At this point in time, we're going to move into public comment. Members of the public may raise issues or concerns not listed on the regular agenda during this time. To participate, please sign in with the city clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. Speakers will be called in the order they are signed in. When speaking, citizens must speak from the podium. Address all comments to the dais. Begin by stating your name and address or single-member district number, and limit the remarks to 3 minutes or less. Heather, do we have any public comment?
Yes, sir. Gerard Sidlovsky.
Good morning, Mayor, Council, and citizens of San Angelo. It's Brother Stephen Gerard Sidlovsky visiting before you. My voting address is 1109 West 8th Street of Lorraine, Ohio. I would like to open up with Holy Scripture from Matthew 19:14. Jesus said, "Let the children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." I got this from your YMCA today. I did a wonderful swim and shower there. Beloved Mayor, Council, and citizens, I am a pro-life speaker. I travel the country, and I'm delighted that I'm actually speaking at a wonderful city that has become a sanctuary city for the unborn. That is a precursor step, however, for your city and the 50 other Texas cities that have already moved in this new direction. I have provided all of you a USA Personhood City Bible bookmark. It has vital information on that particular bookmark. I hope you'll cherish it and put it in your Bibles so that you can conveniently call me in the future to ask questions. For the citizens who have not received the Bible bookmark, if you would like information, my email is brotherstephengerard@gmail.com, and my cell phone number, textable, is 619-735-5935. I am before your city council really because of Nellie Gray. For those of you who do not know who Nellie was, she is the wonderful Texas conservative lawyer from Big Spring, Texas, who started the Washington, D.C. March for Life. Nellie saw the Life Peace Zone banner that is on your wonderful Bible bookmark, and she asked me the question, "Brother Steve, tell me what you're doing." And at that time, when I met Nellie, I was working on new wonderful Life Peace Zones in the Queen City of Cincinnati, and I met Nellie at one of the Walk for Lives in Washington, D.C. And I encourage everybody here to still attend that. So now you can declare personhood. You can pass a personhood resolution, which you're now being delivered. and your citizens can actually vote in the preamble covenant personhood language into your city charter. I call that the USA Personhood Two-Step. Thank you for allowing me to speak before your wonderful city council. Do I have enough time to sing a song, Mayor?
You're almost out of time. We have a 3-minute limit.
Okay. God bless you all, and please move in this new direction. Thank you.
Thank you. You need to leave those with the city clerk.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. No problem. Jamal Schumpert.
Jamal?
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. I'll try to be a little brief. I'm up here today to speak about, I guess, youth sports in this town. I noticed that Councilman Keeley had mentioned it in previous meetings. I was wondering if we got quite a bit of money in the economic development ballot corporation. So I was wondering if maybe we could bring it to a vote and see if citizens would want to build like competition gyms, maybe one on the north, one on the south, or the east and the west. These competition gyms can be convertible into concert gyms, maybe seat 2,000 people, but you can also have basketball tournaments. There are quite a few little smaller towns around here that will travel into San Angelo to do those tournaments. But you also, I would also like to look into building a flag football field, just like we did with the softball complex. Having those three things where you can have tournaments going on at the same time within your town will bring a surplus, a huge surplus of tax revenue and businesses that come along with it. That's really all I wanted to say about that. I have another agenda item I want to speak on, but I really would like y'all to encourage and maybe support youth sports in the town. Thank you. Oh, and I'd also like to shout out to the Parks and Rec Department. They've done an amazing job in the last 2 years. They've come up with some great things. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, Jamal. And I will say, just wait. You're on the right page. I don't know what we can say, but just wait. You're on the right page. Anyone else?
That concludes.
Did Mario not make it? All right. All right. With that, we will conclude public comment. We will move into, did we have anything else? We'll move into the consent agenda. Moving forward with that, I'll move from the dais from Mary over to Tommy. Mary, do you have anything you'd like to pull on the consent agenda? No, sir. Karen?
J.
Karen wants to pull J. Patrick?
No, sir.
I have nothing to pull. Harry?
No, sir.
Joe?
No, sir.
Tommy?
No, sir.
All right. With that, can I have a motion for all items except J?
So moved. Second.
First from Harry, a second from Joseph. Is there any public comment on any of those items except J? With that, we'll take a motion to approve all items except J. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? When none opposed, all items except J pass 7-0. Now we'll move to item J. Consider approving the 2024 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, caper from Angela Bloss. Angela, you're on.
Good morning, Council, Mayor. I'm Angelo Bloss, the Interim Assistant Director of Neighborhood and Family Services, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have. I also have our Program Supervisor here if you have any detailed questions.
Good morning, Angela.
Morning.
I'll start. We were just, one, I wanted people to know all what those two grants went towards and kind of how the city goes about helping those, and if there's any other that goes to like first-time home buyer programs or things like that, if y'all support those or how that works. Just kind of as much information as you can give us on that so people know where to go, where to look, and where that money's going.
Okay, so the caper just involves our performance from the following year. So it'd be a program year for program year 2024, which is equivalent to our fiscal year 2025. And so that just breaks down everything that we were able to do in that year. As far as specific programs, I'm going to bring Mari up here to speak toward those.
I'm Mari Rodriguez. We have two grants. the CDBG grant and the home grant. With the CDBG grant, we are able to do emergency repairs for homeowners that live within the city limits and minor repairs, also for homeowners. And then a sizable chunk of that goes to paying our Section 108 loan that we have. And on the home side, we have the Chodo program is run by Galilee, is the only city Chodo that we have. And they currently do new construction in our target areas only with the funds we give them. And we also give funds to MHMR for rental assistance for their clients. And the rest of the home goes towards down payment and closing cost assistance for first-time home buyers.
On the Section 108, 108 loan, is that Section 8 housing? Is that what that is, or what is that?
It's for the two parks we built, the Producers Park and the Jaime Padron Park.
Gotcha.
And we'll be done paying for that in 2030.
Gotcha. Thank you. That's all I had. You anything else, Karen?
No, I think that's it.
Thank you. That's what we were just kind of.
I'm curious about the details.
Yeah, the details and where people can go to kind of that need the help that these would go towards. But it sounds like Galilee runs a lot of that part of it.
Yes. Well, they built 4 homes in conjunction with the economic development funds that they also get. They do like a gap financing, so to make those new homes affordable for our clients or for their clients.
And then on the first-time home buyer programs, do y'all work with the lenders and they know where to go to find those to help clients?
Yes.
Gotcha.
We have participating lenders. They sign an agreement with us. They actually apply for the program, or clients apply for the mortgage first. Once they're approved, if the lender believes they qualify, they'll submit their application with all the documents that they already have, so they don't have to go back and forth. And they'll give those to me. If they need help with approval, I can give them a yes or no ahead of time, but other lenders that have been doing it for a while give it to me whenever they're ready to sign the contract. And then at that time, those funds are reserved for the first-time home buyer.
Gotcha.
And that's also within the city limits.
Thank you.
So I've got another question.
Okay.
Amongst Galilee, who would be the initial point of contact? If we were going to summarize, if somebody was curious in working or applying for some of these funds, who's the initial point of contact with the city?
With the city, we would refer them to Galilee directly.
Okay. So Galilee is the initial start point all the way through?
Yes, so with that, for that program now, yes.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. With that, I'll look for a motion.
Move approval.
I have a first from Tommy. Second from Patrick. Any public comment on J, Heather?
Jamal Schimpert.
Jamal?
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. I actually do have a little criticism, probably a complaint. On page 5, 6, maybe 7, I don't think those are filled out correctly. On there, one of them says helping minority business owners. They do help, I think, minority business owners. I don't think they understand how to fill it out. This may be their first year filling it out or second year, I'm not sure. But Mr. Silas is usually the one coming up here doing this, but he's retired. The programs are failing. The rehab program, y'all want to know how you actually get access to it? You have to be very low income and go to the WIC office. I'm not sure somebody's making less than $20,000, $30,000 is going to go to a bank to go buy a home. Most of the time, they're not going to be approved a lot of times unless you got this gap funding. So most of those people you're getting are coming from WIC. Maybe one person 2 years ago who was maybe moderate, maybe didn't go to the WIC office to receive those programs or understand those programs. But for the most part, I've been researching that about 3 years because I bought a house within the last 4 years, and I didn't know anything about the program. And I wasn't like high income, moderate if that. This issue with this department has been going on, and Mr. Salas kind of saw how you were going to be building less and less houses. As you see on page 5 or 6, you go from 4 houses as the goal to only building 2. And the actual reality there is City Council authorized 5 houses not to spend more than $350,000 a year. And now I don't think we built any this year and only 2 last year. So the program does need looking at. And when I talked to Mr. Salas, he recommended maybe a rehab repair loan program and some other stuff. But they've told me, and I've been in contact with them about their committees and all these things that they're trying to come up with to fix the housing issue. None of them seem to have worked. They haven't implemented them. And just to end this real quickly, they're mostly a monitoring department. They monitor the funds. They go in and they monitor them and they go out. And sometimes they don't do a good job monitoring. There's I don't know how to put this plainly, but they've put certain expenses in the wrong areas. So I don't know if that's their fault or if that's finances' fault, but it happens almost once every year, at least 2 or 3 times once every year. And then the allocation to the affordable housing should be at $350. It's almost always over $350,000, but they don't use it. So thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. Any additional public comment on Jay? All right, we have a first and a second. I'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item J passes 7-0. That will conclude the consent agenda. We'll move to the regular agenda. Comments regarding items on the regular agenda may be made by the public when each item is discussed as outlined above. To participate, please sign in with the city clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. Speakers will be called in the order they are signed in. Comments are limited to less than 3 minutes. Applicants, proponents, and appellants are exempt from the time limit above and instead must limit their remarks to less than 5 minutes. We'll go into item A, consider awarding RFQ PK 04-25 Santa Fe Downtown River Parks Master Plan Design Services to SWA Group in the amount of $198,600 sourced from the TIERS, COSA DC, and General Capital Project Fund balance, and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute all related documents. Presentation made by Parks and Recreation Director Carl White.
Yes, sir. Good morning. So back in May, Council adopted a resolution that endorsed private fundraising efforts to commission and install a series of sculptures entitled the Concho River Legacy Trail, which will depict the history of the Concho Valley in sculpture. At that time, we were also given direction to look to hire a firm that would help incorporate these sculptures into the river parks. Then back in July, we came back to council, 1, because the council had changed, and 2, because we wanted to clarify that we wanted to look at doing a master plan for all the downtown core parks. Not just, we wanted to look to see how we could incorporate these sculptures into the river parks, and that would include several of the properties shown here on this map. So we did that. We solicited requests for qualifications. We received 11 submissions. We methodically and tediously scored all those submissions, a committee, and we narrowed it down to 3 firms we shortlisted, and we invited those firms to come make a presentation to the committee. And after that, we selected the SWA group to move forward with, and that's what we would like to do, is to award the master plan project to SWA group. The scope of this project is shown on this map. The intent is to look at all the entire parks in the core center of the city along the river. So this includes Civic League Park, where the water lily collection is, which is sometimes looked at as our unofficial botanical garden, and maybe one day an official botanical garden. See how that might connect to over the river to Santa Fe Park. So this plan includes Santa Fe Park as well. It includes the Sunken Garden Park, where the canna lilies are, and also the sculpture garden. How that connects also with the river parks. It includes Kids Kingdom, which is part of Santa Fe Park. This section, which is Park Heights, but it's all part of the same river parks. Bart DeWitt Park, and then part of Rio Concho Park. Look at a whole entire master plan that incorporates all those properties and incorporates the sculpture project because it's going to take up some ground along the river. We have a steering committee, and this is mostly the folks who are on the review committee. We have 2 city council members, 1 member from the Santa Fe Park Commission, 1 member from the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, 1 member from the Public Art Commission, 1 member from the Development Corporation, the curator of the Concho River Legacy Trail, Mr. Tim Newton, and 4 city staff. Now, the steering committee may evolve a little bit along the way. This process is going to take about 8 to 9 months, and we may add some folks to the steering committee to help us along with the process. And of course, we need to work close with different stakeholders groups, engage them, get their opinion, make sure that we're all on the same page as we move forward with this plan. Santa Fe Park Commission, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, the Public Art Commission, the Development Corporation, the Tiers Board, the school district, adjacent neighborhoods, city council, and there's other folks. So we'd like to award this bid. The cost is $198,000. It's funded from the Development Corporation, $50,000, $75,000 from Tiers for public projects, and then $73,600 from general capital project fund balance. Rick, do you have anything to add?
No, I think Carl covered it directly. Just once more to reiterate, this project is spurred sort of by the legacy group coming to council, but at the end of the day, it's about what does San Angelo want to see in this entire corridor, and how do we incorporate this legacy project in with all those other elements that the citizens may also want in that area, whether that be a botanical garden or golf or open space or trails or whatever that may be. How do we blend it all together?
Carl, I'll start off with, this has been a project that was actually brought up by private industry that came forward, but it's a way to develop some of the core parts of San Angelo that in the future will help bring more people to town. I've seen a similar project in Omaha, Nebraska, and it's outstanding. The number of people that go in and see it, the bronzes, everything there. You see some things like this in Fort Worth. I think we're moving this. I would love to see it move faster than 9 months. But I think what we have to do is remember our efficiencies when we look at this. You know, what will be the most efficient thing, and also probably, you know, one of the classiest things we can ever bring to the city that'll be permanent to last for, you know, years and years to come. And with that, I'll kind of open it up to the dais to ask any questions. We'll move across, starting with you, Tommy.
No question, Mayor.
Joe?
No question.
Harry?
I was on the task force, so I think I'm good.
Okay. Daniel, you have any comment?
I have no comment, Mayor, other than we're pretty excited about the whole project and actually moving forward with it. So won't be here when it's completed, but I'm really excited to enjoy it while I'm at my retirement.
We'll make sure you're here to look at it. Okay?
There you go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Exactly. Patrick, comments?
Yes. Hey, Carl. So I was one of the new members, so I came in, afterwards. The scope of the project, is it, the baseline is the art project, and then the rest is going to be how do we put in everything else around that? Is that the idea?
Well, it's look at the entire scope of all the parks, how they connect, how they interact with each other, what do we want for these different parks in the long term? It's not just the sculpture project. So the sculpture project kind of got this started, and we need to see how we can incorporate that project into all the river parks, but that's not the only thing we're going to be looking at.
And it's something that's been discussed by the Santa Fe Board, the Parks Board, the community for a while now, as far as that area. How do we want to see that develop? So I think this was spurring in the background even before this sculpture project came forward. So it's actually a good thing because it's actually bringing it forward, and we can develop what San Angelo wants there.
And then on their, the company coming in is a large majority of what they're going to be looking at as citizens' requests or what they're looking for? Or is it, do they look at what's worked in other towns and say, well, here's what we think will work?
No, they're going to have 3 public engagement meetings the entire public will be invited to attend. Of course, some groups will be specifically invited to say, hey, this is going on, please come give your input. But it's going to be open up to the entire community plus those stakeholder groups.
And they'll also give suggestions. They hold all these public meetings, but like at their presentation, they made some ideas of what might go there just to kind of spur creativity and so forth. So they're real good at helping us along the path as well.
And then how will the public know about those meetings? How are they going to spread the word?
We'll get the word out through social media and all of our channels.
Thank you.
Sure.
Karen?
I had the privilege also of serving on the task force, and I think people might enjoy knowing that I think I'm allowed to mention this, the chosen firm includes a person who is native to San Angelo.
Good point.
Which was significant to us when we reviewed the 3 finalists. And we liked it that they made their presentation personal. They came to town early. They walked the river. They sat in restaurants. They engaged with children in the parks and folks having meals, and when they presented to us, they were able to make it personal. And I think that made a difference to all of us on the review committee, and there's a lot of excitement.
Good point.
Yeah.
Carl, I have one question. It kind of piggybacks on what Patrick was saying. We tend to have very low attendance if there's a public hearing on a zoning change or something. We'll send out notices, and I'm not criticizing that process. But are we going to do a little more than just mail out things? I mean, because with this being the center, kind of the heart of San Angelo and the Concho Valley, and I know you can't, correct human behavior or anything. It'd be great if you could. But to have a constant, more active engagement with the community, they'll really come in full force after the fact and then criticize everything. But I just want to, and maybe the steering committee with Karen and all, how can we help get that word out and really get the people to engage and come around besides just making a Facebook post? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Because it is such a huge legacy is the great word for it, but it's so important to the vitality and the future of our community. And so how can we help to make sure that everybody feels like they have a say?
I think we're going to rely heavily on Brian and Lorelei, of course, to help us. They're the experts in that area. But this one, in my opinion, is a little unique in that the number of groups that are already have an interest in it.
Right.
A lot of times it's just, one property that affects 3 neighbors. In this case, he had a list of groups that are already impacted, who have already shown their interest, and we're already in discussion with them. So those groups themselves will help get the word out to all the neighborhoods, all the surrounding, and we're going to work directly to make sure all of them are notified personally and that word is spread. But anyway, I think this one will be a little bit unique. I understand what you're saying and don't disagree at all. It's sad sometimes the amount of participation we have, but we will do what we can to make sure that people know.
Well, and two, even though this isn't in my district, how can we all help make sure that this is, because we're all connected to this big heartbeat, so just keep that in mind if you can. Anything that we can do, I can do, the rest of us will gladly get on board with that.
Good, thank you.
Carl.
Thank you.
All right, with that, I think we've drawn a consensus that everybody's in favor, so I'll make the first motion to approve. Can I get a second? Second. I got a second from Joe Self. Any public comment on this item, Heather?
Tim Newton.
Passing.
Tim has waived his public comment. Perfect. Any additional public comment? With all that, we'll look for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item A passes 7-0. We'll move into item B, consider awarding the RFP PK02-25 events and venue feasibility study to CSL International in the amount of $125,000 sourced from hot fund balance, and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute all related documents. Presentation made by Parks and Recreation Director Carl White, the Carl White.
I'm too slow to know how to respond to that. If you forgive me, I'm going to read this just right quick as part of the background, and I'm sure Rick will help present this as well, provide some backup information. So in recent years, we've had discussions with the Destination Marketing Organization and with City Council regarding the city's limited ability to host larger conventions and more frequent mid-sized conferences. These conversations prompted an evaluation of how we might expand the existing convention center, adding an exhibit hall, additional breakout rooms, and other convention supporting facilities, and improve its connection to the adjacent hotel. On February 18, 2025, City Council directed staff to explore the possibility of placing the venue tax on an upcoming ballot to measure voter support for such improvements. Staff proceeded accordingly and obtained the required state approval to move the ballot item forward. However, that process is currently on hold. During the same period, stakeholders raised the idea of constructing a new hotel conference center on city-owned property along the downtown riverfront. Both concepts, the expansion of the existing convention center and the construction of a downtown riverfront hotel conference center, offered meaningful advantages but also presented notable limitations. The convention center site can accommodate the expansion and lies near the river, but is not located downtown. The potential hotel conference center would be downtown on the river, but may not be able to incorporate an exhibit hall large enough to attract major conventions. Given these trade-offs, staff determined it would be prudent to engage an experienced consulting firm to evaluate the feasibility of each option and whether one, both, or neither would best serve San Angelo. These firms specialize in assessing markets, regional demand, industry trends, financing options, and other factors that guide municipal decision-making. Accordingly, we issued a nationwide request for proposals and received 5 submissions. A review committee evaluated the proposals, shortlisted 2 firms for interviews, and ultimately recommended the selection of CSL International. And the cost is $125,000. Rick, do you have anything to add?
I think Carl covered it pretty well. This is an item that's been discussed for years. We all know that if we're going to look at a hotel conference center or even expansion of this facility with a hotel, that's probably going to require some type of public-private partnership. And the only way to see if that is viable and can move forward is to have a study such as this, which then allows us to evaluate the options, work with potential developers who might be interested, and make some informed decisions. So this is just moving that forward as council has directed us to do.
Carl, I'll start with this. Sometimes we have to weigh the benefits of repairing what we have and trying to upgrade it versus starting something fresh and new. And the fact that development along the river corridor, which is one of the key things we have, we're starting to take advantage of that key, let's say, piece of property within us. And I see a conference center development along the area that we're looking at would involve several different public-private parties involved with this. We've had this discussion a little bit in executive, and from what we're going here, this is a great start to make sure that, minds that are professional about this and know how to judge the feasibility of, can it be in this spot? Is it large enough to serve what we need? Is it large enough to get the groups we want? Does it accommodate our target market to make San Angelo grow? And I think this whole study decides that, does it not, Rick and Carl? And with that, I just want to say I'm excited about it. Of the things we've looked at over several years, this is one that will shape 15 or 20 years of destination marketing for here and should be great with the chamber also. With that, I'll open up to the dais. Mary, have you got any questions? Karen? Patrick?
Just real quick, and I think basically y'all just alluded to it. This study, will it also provide of what size of a convention center would be viable here? So it's not going to say, well, here's where you could, and this is how big it could be. it'll say, this is what size convention center we think San Angelo needs to be
Yes.
utilized.
Looking at the draw of the market,
Yeah.
what we can bring in.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Daniel, any words? I have
know
to
what's
teach
going
you how to
on
work
with
that button
Yeah,
there,
sorry about
cowboy.
that. Mayor, you talked about destination marketing, and, you hear that term all the time, if you build it, they will come. The issue right now, they're not coming to San Angelo as far as the conventions because we have really not much to offer. And you have a group going out there, like Destination, the DMO going out there and trying to bring in those individuals, those events here to our community. Of course, that's an influx of money to our community. We always look for ways to bring in more revenue. We could do it through tourism, and that's a big key, but we don't have the facilities to make that happen. And this project in itself, as far as the review, will give us the opportunity to take a look at what is most advantageous to the city of San Angelo. Is it expanding on this facility or looking at down the river and looking at the hotel with the center there? So again, I think this is a vital thing that we're doing as far as recommending moving forward with this. But again, if you build it, they will come. And I really do believe that we have a group that can market it. It's just a matter of having the facilities.
Awesome. Harry?
Yeah, a couple of quick comments. Before I became a councilman, I was working with destination marketing, and this has been a dream, a vision, if you say, of several different groups. And we're certainly not going to be able to do it by ourselves. The city, this is going to have to be public-private partnerships. And I would hope that as we have this group come in and evaluate this, that they give us recommendations that will allow us to grow. Quite honestly, I don't know if there's enough money out there to do this, but I'd like to see both facilities considered. This one for the expansion and the one on the river, but both of them are going to take public-private partnerships in order to make it work. So I'm pleased with this.
Mr. Self?
I think this is a great thing. We need it. We need, as they say, heads in beds, and this will help do that. Abilene has a new one. Midland has one. Odessa has one. While we're not that town, we need that to help as well.
They just don't have one on the river.
We have a very unique situation that can really do good things. So, yeah, I'm in favor.
Thank you, Joe. Tommy?
You know, we discussed this in budget 2, 3 or 4 years ago about kickstarting something like this, and it was alluded to, but I don't think we need to skim over it too quickly. A developer that would be participating in a public-private partnership is going to require a feasibility study on our part to see if, in fact, it's feasible. So this, in my opinion, this is the first step to go down that path. If you're ready for a motion, Mayor, I'll make a motion that we accept as presented by staff.
Let me hold it. Any additional questions? We all good? We're all good. So we'll take your motion, Tommy.
Move we approve.
And I need a second.
Harry.
From Harry Thomas. Heather, do we have any public comment on this item? With that, we'll look for a vote. All in favor of item B, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With no opposed, item B passes 7-0. Item C, consider approving the sole source purchase of water meters from Core and Main, Inc. in the amount of $4,299,996, sourced from the water fund balance, and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute all related documents. Presentation made by Public Works Executive Director Shane Kelton.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. This is, before you today, this is our final phase of our meter replacement program that we started 3 years ago. The reason that we didn't put this on consent today is because we do need a budget amendment to go along with this to pull funds from our fund balance, the water fund balance, to cover the expenses of this. The reason we're doing it this way is, one, our contractor believes that he can go ahead and get this project wrapped up this fiscal year instead of pushing this into the next fiscal year. And so again, we want to speed this project up along as fast as we can. There are EPA and federal regulations that are going along with this project. with the lead and copper rule revisions that came out by the EPA. And so while we're doing this meter replacement program, our contractor is also doing all of the service line testing along with this as well. And so we believe we can get this wrapped up this fiscal year at the speed that we're going, and we can get this project behind us, and we can actually be able to move on to phase 4 of our lead and copper rule revision program. So with that, we are seeking approval.
Shane, I'll start off with this. Could you give just a brief snapshot of what this process is and what the benefit of moving to these new meters are? And this is all within your budget. We know the funds are there. We've planned for it. But for those people that haven't been here, maybe are new listening, talk about what these new meters provide you, capability.
With anything, especially the older mechanical meters, with age, everything starts wearing out, and we start losing our ability to register the water that's moving through the meters. And actually, with our old meters that were in place prior to the replacement program starting, we had, I think at one point in time, we had over 600 dead meters that weren't registering any water, period. And so, and as we're moving through and we're trying to sell water, of course, it's very important that we are registering the water and registering it accurately as we move forward, because it not only can we not measure correctly how much water is being used, but we're also losing income to the water fund as well in that same manner. And so it's critical that we have adequate readings, accurate readings across our entire system as we move forward. And of course, water counting is critical as we move forward, as we start working with Water Development Board and those as we're looking for long-term water solutions and water conservation throughout the city. So again, this program's it's critical to keep moving this program forward. And unfortunately, everything does wear out in time. So
what do you think the lifespan of these meters will be?
These meters should actually be a little longer than the last meters that we had. Going to these newer meters are basically magnetic for the meters, and so they have less wearable parts, so we should last longer. But most of the time, you can expect 10 to 15 years for the lifespan of a meter.
All right, thank you. With that, I'll open up the dais. Any questions? Start from left. Tommy, Joe?
Not for me.
Harry?
No.
Patrick?
Just two quick questions. The magnetic meters, so we used to use those a lot in the oil field, and with our hard water, does that affect them any? Do they need to go out and be maintained or cleaned every now and then?
No, actually, these meters are actually a lot more durable than our old ones, and so we'll see a lot longer lifespan with them, and so they actually should work much better and stay cleaner a lot longer. And so again, we'll probably need to replace these long before we would have any corrosion or any other type issues that may affect the meter.
And could they not have found like one more connector just to make a nice even 4.3? Thank you.
Unfortunately, we always have to have some sense in there somewhere. So,
Karen, Mary.
Yeah, Shane. This on the last phase 4. That's just for the mineral content and stuff, right? And for the meters, just an additional testing, but
yeah, this final purchase, again, when we started this program, we spread it out over multiple years, so it wouldn't affect our operating budget. We didn't want to take a $20 million hit all in one year, and so we phased this out over several years. And so this is our final phase of the meter replacement program itself. Now, with the lead and copper rule revision program, we're actually in the phase 3 portion of that, the testing phase. There will be another phase of the lead and copper rule revision program moving forward after this, where we actually have to start replacing some of our galvanized service lines and some of those type things.
well, on this, and I don't mean to be splitting hairs here, but has every meter in San Angelo been replaced?
When we get through this wheel right here, this is the final phase of our meter replacement program. So when at the end of this year, when we get through, every meter in the city of San Angelo will be replaced.
Which part of town, do you do that in sections, or how do you?
It goes by
determine?
billing cycle. We work through billing cycles on that, and so and we've been all over different parts of town replacing it based on billing cycles. And of course, we started with our smaller meters first. That's where we were seeing the majority of our failures was in the smaller meters, mostly residential meters. So that's where we've concentrated most of our efforts at this time. A lot of the meters that we're seeing in these are our bigger meters, our 2 to 6 inch meters. So we'll be replacing a lot more of those commercial industrial meters at this point. So
Just because I'm anticipating some of the calls that we'll probably get, will there be any disruption of water service during this change out?
We try to minimize that as best we can. We did have a few hiccups when we first started the program 3 or 4 years ago. We've worked through most of those issues at this time. The company that we have doing the workforce contracted out to do the work for us. We have a really good process in place of notification. So they try to notify everybody the day before or 2 or 3 days before that they're going to be in that area changing out meters. Most of the time, if there's no issues, it takes 30 minutes or less. So your actually time without water is minimal. And of course, we try to do it during the day on the residential side for less disruption from the household perspective. Working with the commercial businesses, we also work with them to make sure that we actually, if their water is mission critical for their business, that we actually go visit with them to see what time is best for us to be able to shut their water off and replace the meter. So we've worked through those processes over the last 3 years, and we've got a really good process going now.
Bill, I appreciate you saying that, because I've got several nursing homes and assisted
No,
living deals.
we do.
in my district.
We work with them quite closely to make sure that we're actually timing it that is most appropriate for them.
Great. That's the main thing I was looking for. Thank you, Shane.
Yes.
With all that, I'll look for a motion.
So move.
I got a first from Harry and a second from Tommy Hebert. Heather, do we have any public comment? With no public comment, we'll look for a vote on item C. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? When none opposed, item C passes 7-0. We'll move over to item D. Presentation and possible direction regarding proposal to improve conditions at the animal shelter facilities, including new kennel pod structures and future administration building. Presentation made by Animal Services Manager Amanda Weddle and Construction Manager Alfonso Torres.
Good
You
morning.
need Al up there to press the button for you, Amanda.
Good morning. Al Torres, Construction Manager. Of course, Amanda, Animal Services Manager. Wrong presentation. Keep going. Yes, okay, so we're here to talk about the animal shelter that's located here. As you can see, it's out. Anybody not familiar with the animal shelter? Hopefully everybody's had a chance to be out there so they know what we're talking about. So, as you know, several years ago, or for a long time, we've had issues out at the animal shelter. And we started several years ago to look at different ways to improve conditions out there. We started with trying to improve the lab, then we added a garage and looked at an outdoor kennel. Then we said, no, let's fix the dog shelter itself, the large dog kennel. That seemed to be the area of largest concern. So we came up with a plan, hired engineers. We've been working on getting that improved. We were going to do a complete exhaust system for the entire facility, lower the ceiling in the large kennel, divide it into 3 smaller sections, install new trench drains, replace all the ceiling tiles everywhere, remodel the tame cat areas, update the processing room, and construct a new garage intake area. The primary issues were smell, noise, drainage, and so that's why we looked at improving those items. We've been working on plans for a couple of years now. We've had issues with the fire alarm system, the electrical system. The transformer turned out to be undersized because of the shelter next door. And then the key issue, though, that's brought us to where we are today is a temporary facility to place our dogs while we were doing this construction. So at first, we thought we could house them somehow through shelters and stuff, and then we thought, well, no, let's do a temporary facility off-site somewhere. We can move the dogs, and then once we're done, move them back. So we picked a site, we did some plans for that, came up with we had a contractor price it for us. At first, it was going to be roughly $200,000, and then it turned out to be over half $500,000 to do this temporary facility. So we got together and decided for $500,000, why spend that on a temporary facility off-site that once we're done, it's going to be shut down, we won't be using it again. So why not build something on-site that we can use permanently that would help us out? So when we did that, staff got together and said, well, if we're going to do that, do some shelters, temporary shelters, let's make them permanent shelters. And they decided to shift to what we call a pod concept. So basically, this is something, and Amanda can probably explain a little bit better on what we're looking at.
So regarding the pods, you want to think of them as dorms. Each would house about 20 to 25 kennels that would establish outdoor-indoor areas for the dogs. These would improve the airflow for the animals as well as the humans. Sanitation would be easier, and it would reduce disease spread. You would have open airflow through guillotine doors. You would have outside access to sunlight, which also helps with health improvements of the animal. And overall, it's going to be less of a burden as far as maintenance, because you're not going to have one big system managing all 120 kennels. You're going to have 25 kennels per section. So if one section has an issue, you're not shutting down your whole system. You're only shutting down that pod. So looking at it, it is also the best practices that shelters are moving to nowadays, because it is opening it up for community involvement with the animals. It's not so abrasive going in. You don't have the stadium echo of the animals, so people want to come and see them. It also allows for outdoor play yards so that people can meet and greet in a open setting.
So essentially, what we were looking at was, we have money already in place that was awarded for the improvement of the existing shelter. And we could go ahead and move forward with spending that money on improving that existing shelter. But essentially, we will still have what we have now. We have a system that's not really working as it should. So that's why we're looking at this new system that we think would be a much better system. So design phase, we think what we would like to do is move forward with the pods themselves. We're talking about 4 months of design work from the engineers. I've been visiting with them already on what we could do. Construction, phase one, we would look at, we believe we have the money to build 3 pods, possibly 4, but we're going to go ahead and look at 3 pods for phase one. Staff feels like 3 pods would get them a long ways towards taking care of the animals that we have there now.
So let's stop right there.
Yes.
What's the capacity of 3 pods? Or how much is the capacity of each individual pod, Amanda?
So looking at the size per kennel, each would probably be 24 runs. So 24 runs for animals to utilize. That's not to say that there couldn't be brothers and sisters or litters doubled up, and the total of the 4 pods, you would have 96 runs.
Awesome, thank you.
So in phase 2 would be the 4th pod, because our target is to have 4 pods total. And they could be built fairly quickly because the plans are already in place and everything. We would likely do an alternate bid with phase 1, so that if we have the money, we could go ahead and build all 4 at once. And then phase 3, we would consider a new admin building, but that's, I think, down the road. The existing admin building, we could continue to use it. The main issue is the dog kennel area, and since we will have taken care of that, the rest we can kind of make do with until we make a decision on that. So again, like I said, we have a little over $2 million in available funds. That design admin cost really is, that's an error. It should be about $350,000. That $900,000 included designing and fees and permits for the large admin building as well. But that's a future thing, so I really should have changed that to $350,000. The pods themselves, 1.4 to 2 million. I got that price from a facility that we visited that has a similar system. Theirs is brand new. They had asked for a price on building another pod, and that's where I got, they shared that with me, so that's where I got this number. What I'm hoping is that the facility we visited had all the bells and whistles, and it was pretty fancy and had a lot of stuff that our staff feels we don't really need here, so we're hoping we can get it down to the closer to the 1.5 million. So here's will be phase one. We have the existing facility here, and the 3 new pods would be built here. You can see we're leaving space in between so that down the road, if we needed to build an admin building, we could do that here and then get rid of the other facility. So we would have the 3 pods, and phase 2 would be the 4th pod here. And as you can see in between, we have little outdoor shared areas that the public can bring a dog out and sit with the dog and meet with it and play with it and stuff and find out if they're adaptable or not. And these are just pictures of the facility we visited. So you can see the pods themselves are fairly simple buildings. They're little CMU buildings, and they each have this run of outdoor kennels that are accessible to the kennels inside with a guillotine door, so the dogs have free rein to go in and out, access to the outdoor air. And they have overhangs to give them some shade. And then we have these, which again are meet and greet areas. The ones here, each one was sponsored by a local business, so that's, you can do a little fundraising there for those. But it's kind of a nice shaded. This one's not shaded, but some of them had canopies and trees where you can again meet the dogs and play with them. So.
Al, do you mind on this? You said where will the pods be? Can you point to them there on the? Okay.
Sorry, I'm going backwards.
When you're looking at the overarching view, this is our barn right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the corral. The corral would go away. The trees would go away in the back portion of the staff parking lot. And then it would utilize that space for these pods. That would still give us room in the middle for our staff to continue to park and utilize the back entrance.
Yeah, that helps. I was just trying to visualize where it's going to be, what we have. So, sorry for the interruption, Al. Please continue.
Actually, I believe that's all we had, unless you have more questions.
So we'll start, I see Daniel made a big move for the mic here, so let's start with you, Daniel.
Mayor, I think that I want to make sure that on the actual picture of the facility that was visited, would you go back to that? And we have to understand right now that we have a facility that's no longer just a shelter, right? We've taken on the adoption portion of it. Would you talk a little bit about that, Amanda, how this setup right here really helps with that part of it?
Correct. Well, the first is appearance in general. When you are wanting to look at an animal, it is overwhelming to hear all the barking, the echoes, the howlings, the whinings. And in addition to that, it is also overwhelming when you are going in there and you're smelling their urine, their feces, because the staff is actively cleaning all throughout the day. This is a twofold benefit. Number one, with them being outdoor-indoor, the staff can put them outside, clean the inside, and people can still see those animals. They can also spot clean throughout the day, and it's going to make quicker cleaning and disinfection during that time frame, because they're not going to have to take the animal out, put it in the hallway, block the entire row off for cleaning. It can take them 2 to 3 hours for one row because they cannot move the animal to another destination. It is also healthier for the animals. So you are giving them fresh air and helping to keep bacteria from building up by having that airflow, the sunlight, which makes for healthier dogs, which makes for more appealing adoptions. So it's a twofold portion of it.
And I know that you touched on this, Al, as well. I just couldn't imagine the city spending $500,000 on a temporary facility that, quite frankly, we're going to use again. So I want to make sure that we incorporate that money into part of that plan moving forward to make sure that we had permanent facilities, and this is what this gives us. So that's all I wanted to say, Mayor, about that.
Yeah, that's good. So let's start it on the dais. Mary, we'll start with you. Questions?
Yes. So each of these pods will have their own HVAC system, correct?
Yes.
The drain issue, that's it'll be the proper size then now in these new pods. Does this money include anything with like in the main body that we have right now? Because that drainage system has been awful for a while.
So this money is not allocating in that. However, on the side, in our other budgetary money, we are currently working on that. We've had the plumbers out multiple times assessing the main lines as well as the individual drains from the kennels. We have gotten an estimate to assess, they call them P-traps, between each of the kennels to the main line. We have gotten an estimate as far as them assessing every single one of them in that main area. Some of them are broke, some of them are just clogged. And so they're going to be going to each and every one to assess them and unclog the ones that are clogged, and then the ones that are broken, we are going to assess cost of repair or sealing off.
No, and so you already have that cost?
We're already working in that, yes.
Okay, and so it's separate budget. Is that going to throw us over budget or?
That is being worked on.
That's a separate agenda item than what we're discussing now, right?
Okay. Well, so what's this going to increase our capacity to?
Real quick, I just want to say, I guess in answer to your last question, we are well aware that we have to continue to use that existing kennel until this can be built. So yes, we are addressing those other issues through a separate budget.
Okay. Is this going to increase the overall capacity for our animals?
No, it is not. And that goes to the size of care versus size of building. So just because we put more kennels, do we have the staff and the time in the day to care for properly additional animals? We want to make sure that we are meeting the national standard of 15 minutes a day per animal. And in order to do that with the current staffing that we have, the 140 that we have reduced it to is the best accurate number.
So this 140 is we're still going to have a limit of 140 dogs, right?
Correct.
But this is more of a facility improvement, not necessarily a program improvement.
This is a program improvement because it is increasing the overall health of the animals that we are caring for right now to ensure that they are better for placement.
And if I can add, the current plan that we have to improve the existing kennel was not going to increase the number of kennels either. It was still going to be the same, but the health of the animals was not being considered. We were considering really improvement of the conditions for the people that are visiting the facility, and we're still doing that, but this also improves the health of the animals.
Okay. So our capacity is still going to be at 140 dogs, and how many cats?
I believe it's 120, 130 is where we sit at regularly.
Well, are these kennels primarily for dogs, or there's not going to be any cats?
This is all addressing the dogs at this time. The proposed additional admin building that we were looking at, that would address the cats.
Okay.
It would also give us better stability as far as our strays so that people could openly see what strays have come in right from the start.
So we're not going to have an increase in staff. We're not going to need more people. We're not going to hire more people.
Eventually, we would like to see a foster coordinator and a volunteer coordinator, number one, so we can get volunteers in there, someone that can manage them full-time, as well as a foster coordinator, so that we can look at having a foster program that would, in effect, increase our capacity.
Right. Okay, on this, but back on the pods, it's not going to require additional staff to do extra cleaning or anything like that?
No,
So let me interrupt. It's been pointed out by other council. We need to keep the discussion topic on the agenda item. As far as operations and things, Mary, we'll get with somebody at a different time, but we need to keep this to the discussion of the topic here.
Okay, yeah, I'm still,
Regarding
on this pod part, it's not going to require any additional staff?
No, this is actually going to hasten their cleaning process.
Okay, good.
So it's going to take less off them so that they can do more throughout the
So
day.
this $2 million would get all this. We're not going to get we need another 200,000 down the road. This is what we're looking at.
For the pods?
Yes.
we're comfortable that we can build at least 3 of these, and that's our plan, is to move forward with designing for 3, but with an alternate for 4 in case it does come in.
Okay, but we're looking to work within this 2 million.
Correct.
All right, good.
I would
That's,
just add on any project, keep in mind, depending on, I don't know what your time frame is, but if this waits, 6 months, a year,
Right,
or whatever,
yeah.
all of those numbers go out the window.
yeah,
So
that's
just
why I
keep
just.
that in mind.
Yeah,
very true,
and
yes.
the sooner we can get it going, the better. Good deal. That's all I have. Thank you both.
Karen?
I'll be quick. So could we please ask you to come back and see us in a few weeks and let us know what your progress is? Because we waited a long time and this is exciting.
Of course.
That would be awesome if we could have that on a repeating basis, maybe every 6 weeks or so. And development triggers a pre-development meeting with Planning and Development Services, typically. Have you guys already sat down with the planning department and spoken to them about all the things that can come up and ensure that we are ready to
Not
move
yet,
forward?
but that is in the works.
Okay, super good. Great. Thank you.
Cool. Patrick?
My math isn't mathing. At 3 pods, we're at 72, correct?
Correct.
That's half of what we're currently at 140.
4 would be a total of 96 kennels.
Right.
Right now, we have 120 kennels, but 30 of them are down because they flood. So we're down to 90. So we would have 96 kennels with 4 pods. So we would be right at the same.
At where we're at currently.
Correct.
Is there any way to utilize the good parts of our old kennel and keep our capacity up in any way?
So we would have to look at all of that because our goal in getting out of that main general admission area is to increase health and welfare of the animals.
Agreed.
I think if we stay with the old, we're still accumulating those problems that end up costing us in the end because of medical needs and things of that nature.
No, agree. And I love that. And from everything I've talked to you about, that is at the end goal of everything you said, it is the ultimate welfare of the animal.
Correct.
And so I commend you on that. I don't think enough people see that or understand that. I think you always have that in mind. I hate going down in capacity overall over our original 140, right? I understand why we've or 120 or 140?
We're at 140.
Okay. I understand our reasoning for going lower. I just hate the future plan to be that low number. I'd rather see it a high number. Is there a space to continue to add pods if somehow we found the funds to do it?
Well, and remember, when you're talking about these pods, that's 96 in general admission. Okay, that does not even include our isolation area, our quarantine area, our puppy area. Those accumulated is going to keep us at the 140, if not a little over from time to time. This morning, we were sitting at 148. So while we are over capacity, I have things in the works that a lot of animals are going out on Thursday, so I am withholding making any decisions until after Thursday. And that's the way it will work even with these pods.
We'll still have the other facilities that,
We'll still have isolation, we'll
Yeah.
still have quarantine, we'll still have the puppy ward, and that would be assimilated into the additional admin building at a later time.
gotcha. So back to that, and again, and that's going to be, this goes back to the funding part, but is there going to be, with your overall plan, Alfonso, is there going to be room to add more if we were able to in the future?
I believe so. If you want to go back to the, yeah, so this, yes, this is the overall plan. So, I mean, you can see there's areas where she just pointed out. We could do some here and move these large animal kennels around. I think there's areas where we could do that.
Okay. And we're calling them pods. Is that just the design of it? It's not an actual pre-built structure or anything like that?
Correct. These are concrete block buildings on a concrete slab.
Thank you.
Harry?
Thank you. I'm not going to reiterate everything that's been said, but I will have to say this is a unique concept. And I think utilizing the money that we were going to spend on a temporary shelter going into this is better used with the taxpayers' money. So I appreciate the concept, whoever brought it forward and where we are today. And I will have to say let's get her done.
Joe?
Sounds good to me. Better animal welfare. I mean, we still have the old facility if we needed it. It's just we're not planning on it because it needs to be fixed. So technically, we're not losing capacity. We're just going to use a better one.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
and we also have to have the staff for more capacity, which, again, it's a compounding thing. So, again, I'm in favor of this. Great deal. Thank you. I'm glad. Good concept, like Ari said.
Councilman Hebert?
I think my questions have been answered. Let me confirm. We'll have a final cost. Karen was talking about 6 weeks or so. We'll have a final cost of this, whether it's closer to 1.4 or 2.
We should have a better idea of it. By that time, the engineers will have been hired and they will start designing. But because the first thing we need to do is firm down the plan, exactly how many kennels are in each one and all that kind of stuff. And then we can put a better dollar figure, our own dollar figure on it, rather than relying on Abilene's.
Okay. So to Rick's point, costs are only going to keep going up.
Correct.
It would be my preference as one council member that if we can find find the funding and see our way to do the 4 pods, let's do that, because it's only going to cost us more if we say, well, we'll do that later. That's just my one thought. I'm good. I like the concept.
Daniel, do you have an executive summary here?
Yeah, and Tommy, we can look at that, basically combine the phase 1, phase 2, but that's what you're saying at this point. And you're right, the longer it drags out, the more expensive this can get. So we'll take a look at that as well and see what that cost savings would be.
See if we can make it work now, even if they have to come back possibly and look at a little additional funding above the 2 million. Let's just see how much above that would be if we can handle that.
We'll work through that. The goal will be to actually keep it below the 2 million, and so we'll work toward that. But again, we really do feel that this, as far as the facility, and as Amanda mentioned a while ago, best practices is something that we want to get into. But if we're going to be doing the adoption portion of it as well, which we are, this is really the best way to go. And my recommendation, of course, is, and all we're looking for right now is your direction at this point. So. But the recommendation is to give us that direction and move forward and get this thing done.
All that. So, Brandon, at this point, we need to vote on this one, or we're just giving direction?
Direction.
A motion.
So I think you've seen that. We'd much rather see funds be spent in something that's going to last for many years instead of temporary. With that, thank you all so much for your presentation.
Awesome.
All right, we'll move to item E, first reading and public hearing of an ordinance for PD 25-07, a request for a zone change from a single-family residential zoning district to a planned development with...
Mayor.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we had public comment on this item.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just on a presentation. All right. Heather, who do we have for public comment?
Tiffany Watson.
Tiffany, I'm sorry.
My name is Tiffany Watson. I'm from Single Member District 2. I do have a couple of points that are a little off agenda, so forgive me. Yes. 2 months ago, I started sharing my videos of the shelter dogs. We've had thousands of views and at least 6 adoptions directly related to those videos. Last week, a dog was adopted within hours of posting his video. Not just one person, but 2 people went that same day to adopt him. He was the second longest stay. He had been there for months and no doubt would have been euthanized a few days later. So I encourage the city to put more effort towards promoting these dogs, and it will lead to higher adoption rates. These poor dogs at the shelter do not even have a yard. They never see sunshine or breathe fresh air unless a volunteer walks them. But if the city builds a new shelter in town, a shelter with ventilation, drains that work, faucets with actual water pressure, a yard for the dogs to get a chance to run, a shelter with just an inch of pride, it would make all the difference for the animals and our community. The shelter would no longer be out of sight, out of mind. It would no longer bring instant thoughts of disgust. People would see it daily, visit, talk about it, hear about it, volunteer, and adopt. If it weren't repulsive, social media outreach would be even more effective. The animals would be happier and have higher success rates. Organizations could get involved. People would be more likely to come to adoption events, and people could trust taking in strays, because right now they do not. It appears they are trying to make living conditions better at the shelter, but they are killing dogs to do it. Our money is being wasted trying to fix something that does not work and instead should go to doing things the right way. And on that, after hearing about the pods, I love the idea. I just think that there needs to be more of them. Also, the $150 adoption fee is too high. If someone wants to adopt the dog, they don't want to pay $150. They can find a free dog any day of the week online. They might say, I'll get them fixed later, but they don't. And a year or so later, the problem is multiplied, and it continues to multiply exponentially. But if that person knew you could save a healthy dog from the shelter for, say, $50, one that's already spayed, neutered, has all their shots, most people would choose that because people want to adopt. It really is that simple to prevent unnecessary unfixed dogs here. Animal Services is currently only working with one vet, so adopted dogs are sitting at the shelter for 3 or more weeks waiting to go home. This has cost so many dogs their lives due to space. The animals also deserve to have a scheduled euthanasia date posted. The community needs to be aware of the consequences so that we can come together to save as many as possible. Right now, they are killing perfect, highly adoptable dogs every week. Now they are even doing it with empty kennels available. In the past, our town really came together to help save the animals, and I know we could do it again. So this behavior of killing so frequently without warning, especially when there are empty kennels, it has to stop. It is not okay. It is completely unethical. I don't know how any of you have convinced yourself this is anything but evil. This does not include unadoptable dogs, and I know we cannot save them all. And I know animal services workers may not appreciate the backlash, but it is our community and our leaders who are at fault, which must be emphasized. The public needs the truth in order to hold each other accountable. Without that knowledge, change will never come. And I passed out packets that just have price comparisons for the adoption fees. You can adopt at Paws for $85. Houston is $50.
We've
Dallas
got
is
that.
free.
Heather's got it for us.
And Lubbock is $30. So why is ours $150? Thank you.
Thank you. Heather, is there any more public comment? Now we'll move to item E. First reading and public hearing of ordinance for PD 25-07, request for a zone change from the single-family residential zoning district to a planned development with a base zoning of neighborhood commercial located at 617 East 42nd Street and 4101 Crockett. Presentation made by Planning and Development Services Director Aaron Vanoy.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Valenzuela. This morning, we're going to start with this planned development at the old Lincoln Middle School site. You can see here on the image the old gymnasium, an old facility there, and their maintenance building here. And what SAISD is trying to do is to combine these areas to use some workable space that the Tiny Texans program is going to move in there, which is a daycare program, continue to have their maintenance facility there, and then future items may come in to this property in the future. This is in the Lakeview neighborhood, District 2, Mr. Joe Self. It is currently RS1 zoning, and the request to zone changes to the planned development with a neighborhood commercial-based zoning. We did send out 55 notices. We did not receive any back in favor or against. This did go through Planning Commission. We did look at this property, and this may be a little bit better, but this property here with the vehicle storage, their vehicle maintenance as well as maintenance for other facilities is kind of the highlighting, trying to work that into what would be just typically a school site. There was some discussion at Planning Commission about meeting certain items of a school in our ordinance, or is Tiny Texans really a daycare program? We did come to a compromise on that, as well as the outdoor storage area that works for both SAISD as well as the city and the neighborhood. So we did recommend approval from staff to the Planning Commission. Planning Commission did recommend approval with a 6-0 vote, and they had these 3 conditions. Get your necessary building permits. Outdoor storage is allowed up to 10%, which is over 1 acre for that property. And then any of the outdoor storage locations that you just have opaque fencing around any outdoor storage locations. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Aaron. With this one, it's SMD2. We'll roll this over to you, Joe, if you got anything you want to tee up on this one, or you look good with it.
I'm good with that. It's an area where I went to junior high that is no longer there and needs to be cleaned up and better utilized. And this will help do that.
Any questions, Tommy or Harry? This side, anybody? With that, we'll look for a motion.
So moved. Second.
I have a first from Joe. I need a second.
Second.
Second from Tommy Hebert. Any public comment? With no public comment, we'll look for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With no opposed, item E passes 7-0. Item F, first reading and public hearing of an ordinance for Z25-23, a request to rezone from the single-family residential zoning district and the low-rise multifamily zoning district to the central business zoning district located at 401 East Beauregard. Presentation made by Aaron Benoit.
Thank you, Mayor. Aaron Benoit, Planning and Development Services Director. This property here is our PD station here with our city. It actually has a split zoning that kind of comes in right about where that red line is. And to the right is an RS district, and this is Central Business District here. Well, as you guys know that y'all have approved through the budget that PD needs to add a couple of portable buildings here, that kind of triggered us to go in and clean this up for them to make sure that this works for their addition that they need to add. This neighborhood is Fort Concho East, District 3, Mr. Harry Thomas. Vision is downtown and is a request to change from the RS1 to the CBD. So we did send out our notifications. We had none in favor and none opposed. Here you can kind of see that split zoning. You also see the RM1 up here to the top part of the property. That really is just drainage that kind of comes in there and comes down into the Concho area. It's all under property right now as opposed to a dedicated street and right-of-way. We may clean that up in a future process down the road. But today we're just trying to match this zoning over here, which is Central Business District, which matches the downtown vision plan. With that, the staff did recommend approval to the Planning Commission to rezone this from RS1 to Central Business District, and the Planning Commission gave a recommendation of approval of 6-0 on November the 17th. With that, I'll take any questions.
All right, we'll tee it up. It's in your district, Harry. Any questions?
I think this is a good deal, so I recommend approval on this.
All right, well, let me ask, got any questions over here? With that, I'll take that first motion from Harry. Can I get a second?
Joe.
Second from Karen. With that, is there any public comment, Heather? With no public comment, we'll take a vote on item F. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes 7-0. We'll move into item G, first reading and public hearing for ordinances for 1, Z25-24, a request to rezone from the Ranch and Estate zoning district to the light manufacturing zoning district, and 2, CP25-02, a request to amend the comprehensive plan to industrial for 345.27 acres south of the intersection of North US Highway 67 and Harriet Road. Presentation made by Aaron Benoit.
Again, thank you, Mayor. Aaron Benoit, Director of Planning and Development Services. This is an area that we just annexed in early part of the summertime, and now we're going through the first zoning process to get this land to start moving towards development. Since we annexed this in, the adjacent neighborhood is Paul Land, so Paul Land kind of goes all the way out here to this area now. It also moves the SMD out to this area, which is District Number 4, Mr. Patrick Keeley. It comes in automatically zoned as ranch and estate, but that's not the intent of this property. So we're going through the rezoning process and a comprehensive plan process to rezone this, because right now this part of the area does not have a vision plan, so we're adding that to it. You can see that we're going from the zone change from the ranch and estate to light manufacturing and a comprehensive plan to industrial. Apologize for the maps. That's the extent of our imaging on our mapping system, and so that's why that top half is white. We just don't have imaging out there as of right now. We did send out notifications. We did kind of over-notify in case we wanted to add some of these other properties down the road. We will notify those again as things come through, but we were just trying to get a flavor for the area to see if anybody had any issues. There were 15 notifications sent out. There were 0 in favor and 0 opposed. We did do a significant analysis. It's a very large property, 345 acres. Again, it's surrounded by farmland, and while we say vacant farmland, it is still usable farmland, or it's pasture land as of right now. There is, and I can go back to the image real quickly, many of y'all know, there is an AEP substation there. There are a couple of homes on the east side outside of town, but here on the west side is mostly vacant, whether it be pasture land or farmland of some kind. This area did come in as Ranch Estate. It did not have a comprehensive plan designation, but as we look at that area today, we see that this is the area that's kind of been designated industrial, kind of coming in from our the Highway 67 and where 277 meet. We know that we have our industrial park there that the city has. We know there's some other industrial facilities around, and so we anticipate that that is going to be an industrial type land use. In this specific case, we believe that there's a potential data center that will be coming into this. So we looked at our zoning ordinance. What do we have today in our zoning ordinance that would allow a data center to come in? And we believe that it fits our light manufacturing the best, which is mostly, as you can imagine, some kind of manufacturing, but it can be warehousing, it can be large truck transport, it can be lots of different things that even if a data center does not come to this property, it may be zoned appropriately for other industries to come in there and take advantage of that. This property is isolated from other developments, and so it does kind of lend itself towards manufacturing. Housing is not close. While there are some adjacent houses, it's not a large housing development. We know the Concho River is to the south of us, but it is significant distance from that, about a mile and a half or so from that. So any kind of mitigation issues could be resolved very quickly. And so having this larger property here being light manufacturing is appropriate at this time. One of the ideas that with our northeast plan that's being looked at right now is having some kind of buffer area right in here. We cannot do that with this zoning, but we will look at our urban design review if and when something comes in to add some kind of buffering there so that as you're coming in on 67, which is one of our major entrances to our community, that it's going to look a little better, not just a bunch of stark buildings, things like that. We've actually talked to prospective folks that are looking at this property, and they're good with that as well. But again, today is just the comprehensive plan and the zoning approval for this 345 acres there off of Highway 67 and Harriet Road. That is staff's recommendation, as well as we presented that to the Planning Commission, and they gave a 6-0 vote in approval on November the 17th. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Aaron, we'll kick this over to Patrick in a second, but my first question is, I want to make sure we make one zone move and we don't end up making one or two. I think you've answered that. Does this suit the suitors that may be, this is the requested zone they'd like to see?
Yes, with communications with them, this is a typical zoning they would see in Texas. There are very few jurisdictions, only 2 that I found in Texas, that have data center specific. There are some on the East Coast, but we don't have anything data center specific. We talked to our Texas American Planning Association, and they believe light manufacturing is the appropriate zoning for a data center in our community and other communities alike.
Cool.
I would just add to that, if you'll look in the background, in this case, because it's specific as to what's going to be here, there's a letter of interpretation by our planning director.
Correct.
It's attached to your background info stating exactly what is intended here.
Awesome. With that, open it up for any questions. Patrick, your SMD.
All makes sense to me. The one thing that was important to me was just keep the buffer. So as long as we can still do that in the future.
We can do that through the development processes based on what we project that's going to be there. Their size would trigger an urban design review, and that's something that is within our control of the urban design review process.
We'll also be looking at that. We just hired Westwood to do the plan out there, so we'll be looking at the design standards and guidelines for that whole area to make it do exactly what you're saying.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? With that, Patrick, you want to start with a motion? I got a first from Patrick. I got a second from Karen. Heather, any public comment? Public comment.
Michael Looney?
Michael knows it. With no additional public comment, we'll look for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With no opposed, item G, parts 1 and 2, pass 7-0. With that, we'll move into closed session, executive session under the provision of Government Code Title V, Open Government Ethics, Subtitle A, Open Government, Chapter 551, Open Meetings, Subchapter D, Exceptions to Requirements that meetings be open under the following conditions. Item A, Section 551074, Personnel Matters regarding the City Manager. With that, we'll move into closed executive session. We'll come back to session with item 8, follow-up and administrative issues. Consider items discussed in executive session if needed. I believe nothing needs to be further discussed. Item B, consider approving various board nominations. Civic Events Advisory Board, John Flint, SMD 1 to a third term, Josh Hilton, SMD 2 to a second term, and Andy Markey, SMD 6 to a first full term, all ending December 2027. Do we want to go ahead and do this one right now, or go ahead and do it with the Parks and Advisory, or do them separately?
You can do it.
Do them all together, okay. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, William Kitch, Mayor, full first term. Sarah Mattis, SMD 5 to a first term, both ending December 2027. Piers Tax and Increment Reinvented Zone Board, Sandy Rojas, SMD 6 to a first term ending July 2027. I move for approval from Tommy. I got a second from Harry Thomas. Any public comment?
None.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? With no opposed, item B, all nominations are approved 7-0. Item C, announcements and consider future agenda items. And number 1, considering scheduling the February 17th, 2025 meeting to 6 p.m. on Tuesday evening. Does anybody have any objections to that?
Most convenient
Well, I
for people
think,
coming
so
on.
that's open to discussion. Originally, Heather and I talked about maybe a 5:30, but
I think that's a better time, basically, especially if you got a long agenda. It's going to be 9:30, 10 o'clock before we get out of here. If you've got an agenda that, like we had last.
You just sleep late that morning? I was fixing to say, I don't. So what's everybody think? Is 5:30, 6 o'clock?
I think 5:30, people can come straight from work and not have the random time, oh, I'm gonna go home and then don't come back.
All right, I'm good. That was our initial thought, and then I thought, well, people might wanted to get here in time to get here.
Who's
From
bringing
wherever
our
they
cake
work.
is all I wanna know.
I know, right?
Who's bringing what?
Our cake, our birthday cake. We're
Is
doing
that
it on
y'all's
our birthday.
birthday?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, then also February 2nd, if that goes as planned, Heather, Tommy Hebert will be conducting that meeting. I will be out of town, so he will take the first meeting in February.
That is if the groundhog sees the shadow.
Yeah, if the groundhog sees the shadow, Tommy Hebert will be in charge or at fault at that. One other thing I want to bring up before we, you know what, let's go ahead and bring the meeting to a close.
Well, I just want to remind everyone that we will only have one meeting in January on the second Tuesday, which is January the 13th.
Right.
Regular 8:30 a.m.
Let's not close the meeting. Let's keep it open.
I'm
for a minute.
gonna do it.
Let's do it.
Michael Dane, he's gonna hate me for this.
Don't care.
He has been with the city forever, and love the guy. I was so blessed to come into my position, having not just Mike, but Rick there as well. He's done a tremendous job for the city, and this is his last city council meeting. He's going to be greatly missed, not just by myself, Rick, and staff, but again, he's become part of that family. On the fourth floor, we're a family up there, and sometimes we argue, sometimes we cut each other down, sometimes we laugh at it all. But Mike has a special kind of humor. He has a special kind of wit that is going to be missed up there as well. And I just wanted to say that because he didn't want anything. He didn't want his name mentioned. He's a very humble guy. And we'll be doing something for him on the fourth floor. And y'all are all going to be invited. But with that said, Mike, love you, man. And you will be missed.
Can I say something publicly about what it's like to work with him?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Hey, don't ruin the moment, man.
I don't like to laugh at. I mean, he's a joy.
Well, I will, and I imagine there's several of us that may want to voice something here. Michael, I'm sorry, bud, if you didn't want this to happen, we just can't let you get away. Some of the very first meetings we had where council got together, we went to Marty Self's house, had a meal and dinner. Michael went out of his way to introduce himself to me. He led me through so many difficult situations where I say sometimes your wisdom is to remain quiet, sometimes you don't. Michael was good to always give a phone call and answer your questions. He always looked for a way to find a solution. All right, it never was an objection. Hey, we'll look at a way to find a solution. He's a can-do person. He's always been that. And it was always I don't know, or it was always, let's look at a way to make that work. And I can't tell you how many things financially and as we go down this path, when it was always great knowing Michael was at the helm of the finance and the funds as an assistant city manager to help guide us down that path. And The city of San Angelo will never know what you've done behind the scenes, what you've done for the community, what you've done for all the staff. And I just say, from me personally, as the mayor, Michael Dane, you've been a godsend to all of us, and we've been far blessed to have you at our side. Very much.
Awesome.
Oh, Harry Thomas.
Well, I don't know how successful I've been over the last 9.5 years, but I will say this. Michael helped me early on in my tenure as a councilman. I would not have been able to do some of the things that I did with the city and citizens had it not been for him giving me some directions. And hopefully the same thing can be said with all of us sitting up here. But Michael, appreciate what you did. Appreciate how you showed me direction, and a lot of times when I thought, well, this has got to be the only way you can do it. And Michael sat down and have a conversation with me, and guess what? We found a different solution. Thank you.
Mr. Heaver?
I've known Michael since he came to the city, because at the time he came, my wife worked for the city. And that's how I originally met Michael. I was appointed to the Development Corporation when Michael was the finance director, and came to appreciate more than he will ever know his creative financial mind. If there's one thing that the city will miss as a whole, it is Michael Dane's creativity when it came to looking for solutions to financial issues. I've never been around anyone before or since that had the uncanny ability to create, I'm going to say, a solution when it looked like what you were facing was just a brick wall when it came to the financial side of it. Michael, I came to appreciate that even more. Let me before I wrap up. I came to appreciate that even more as a council person because, to Harry's and Tom's point, Michael's solution oriented. It's not, no, we can't do that. It's let's figure this out. And he always had, and it wasn't just one option. It was a couple of options, and there was one that was always seemingly the best. So, Michael, I appreciate you. I appreciate your service to the city. I appreciate your friendship as much as anything. Thanks.
With that, Michael?
I'd like to appeal to Brandon to keep us on the agenda.
With that, I'll look for a motion to close today's meeting.
So moved.
I got a first and a second. Anybody opposed? With that, all in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting closes 7-0. Here's to Michael Day.